That means I'm involved in all facets of the business, and you know, I'm not just an A&R guy, although my most joy still comes from the discovery and the nurturing of artists. I'm also involved in promotion, marketing, sales, you know, the cost of paper, and you know, the manufacturing. I just, you know, I like the ability to concentrate on like 4 or 5 artists a year and really be able to pay my full attention to it. In some ways, what makes it a little difficult for me is like I'm an indie label with major label tastes. I mean, I like to hit home runs, and sometimes the cost of doing business gets a little difficult. I mean, it's like I can get the buzz going and I can get things happening, but then I can't. You know, when I go to play the battle of going at radio and and getting retail space, it costs a lot of money, and that's probably my biggest problem. The time framework isn't quite as extreme if I'm doing it by myself on a purely indie basis. Might be, you know, there are things like, you know, like press lead time. If you're going to have an act that you're expecting, you know, a press from, you know, I mean, here we are today on October 27th or 28th. You know, if I was to be approaching magazines, you know, fanzines now, they're talking about January, February issues. So obviously that's one of your biggest problems, and you can't really give them anything until it's totally finished. Like I'm here, you know, mastering a new Los Lonely Boys record today, and even though I'll be done today, this record can't come out until February, March because of that press lead time. So that's a bit of a problem. If you're, you know, if you're starting with a brand new baby act and there's not a lot of groundswell already, you can shrink that time because I'm not obviously worried about that long lead press because I'm not going to get it anyway. So then it could be more like a, you know, 60 days from the point of completion. But otherwise, you're talking about 90 or 120 days. So, yeah, here's what we do. Okay, first of all, in terms of making records, you know, the great thing is, you know, the technology has now made it so that, you know, you could make records much cheaper, much more efficiently. And, you know, there's been all these different points in time, like, you know, where we first went from analog to digital, and then was like, okay, well, you can't make a rock record digital. And then there was when you were able to make a rock record digital. And those things are really helping. And what we've done is we've actually taken a studio space now, and we have our own studio, so we're able to actually go in and make records. And I have an in-house producer on staff, too, so we could nurture stuff. So the technology has definitely helped. In terms of the videos, we're making, you know, we're now able to, you know, you can make a video obviously for less money. I mean, if you're still looking at MTV, not that they play any videos, but if you're looking at MTV2 or VH1, you still have to compete, and video prices are stiff. But now, you know, now we can make videos to use for MySpace and Yahoo and AOL.com, and you know, there's other outlets now where you can get some videos exposed. I mean, it's a little tough. It's still very much in a transition, and it's changing all the time. Like by the time this thing gets out, maybe, well, actually, this gets online pretty quick, I guess. But you know, I say to people all the time, it's like the good news is that there's a new world that's starting to happen. The bad news is the old world is dying at a far greater rate, and we're still going to have that problem for another year or two. But so I mean, you like with MySpace, say for example, you know, we have an artist now who's, you know, has 12,000 friends on MySpace, and yet we're only selling 100 records a week. You know, from what I understand, you have to get up to about 20,000 friends on there before it really starts, you know, making a difference, because we're still in a transitional process where now everybody got their music for free for a while. Now they've got to start to being schooled to like, look, you know, if you don't start paying Bruce Springsteen to make a record, he's going to become a carpenter, you know, the next Bruce Springsteen. So, you know, we have to, you know, we're figuring out ways to monetize it again, and that problem is sort of compounded by the fact that the major labels are still trying to stamp out the new technology. They're not trying to get with it and get behind it. They're still trying to make it go away. So, you know, the technology is both a curse and a wonderful thing at the same time. But I think in the next couple of years that it will start to flesh out, because I think the great thing is, the best thing is that people are listening to music in more places than ever before. And I think that eventually that's, you know, when we start getting our audience to like us again as a business, that things are going to improve greatly.